I'm here sharing 5 minutes on the couch with retired American and Australian basketballer Andre Moore.
Hello, Sarah.
How are you today, Andre?
I'm good.
Andre, you grew up in Chicago with a boyish dream of reaching the NBA, and you achieved it.
Yes.
Can you share with me a little bit about your childhood and what inspired you to play basketball?
Wow. Well, yeah, I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and in a fairly tough neighborhood back in Chicago. It was called the neighborhood. There was a housing commission. We call it a housing commission here. We call it housing projects over there, because that's just what it was, a project that the government tried to see how they could bring minorities into an isolated sort of region and see how they cope with the rest of society. So my area was called Allgill Garden. I'm still very proud of that community. It's underwent quite a few changes over the years. But growing up there as a child, it was quite tough. 90% of the families were one parent only, mainly just moms. For some reason, a lot of dads that weren't present. So therefore, coaching basketball was a sort of a way for me to stay away from out of trouble. My coach sort of played that father role. His name was my high school coach. His name was Mr. Bob Walters. He unfortunately died he had cancer. Sorry, he had cancer. Yeah, and shortly after I left high school. But he played a pivotal role in my life as well as my teammates' life, and being that father figure, teaching us a lot about all the things that a father, should teach a child. Everything from how to treat a lady, how to tie a tie, all the little things, that moms don't necessarily, want or can teach a young man. So it was very, very, very instrumental in making me the person I am today.
So it sounds like there was periods of adversity during your childhood and perhaps into your career.
Yeah.
Can you share with me how you overcame that adversity?
Yeah, strictly by this thing right here, basketball. I discovered the game at the age of 10 years old, and once I discovered it, I fell in love with it. Basketball is my first love. I started playing nonstop. Every chance I could get, I would go outside to the local court and play basketball, because basketball was a very easy game to provide to people in our neighborhood. We didn't have like big paddocks and fields and all that. We had concrete. It was a concrete environment, so it was easy to build basketball hoops as opposed to kids playing footy or those type of sports, American footy, gridiron you guys call it. So and it was also very low cost sport as well. All you need is a little basketball, pair of shorts, singlet, off you go. Whereas other sports, football, very expensive, helmets, cleats, all that type of stuff, very, very expensive. So it was a game that was quite affordable, as well as quite fun. It's very fast moving, fast paced, a lot of jumping, running. It's just a game, for a precocious kid like myself then, it was an ideal game for me, because it's hard for me to stay still. So it was an ideal game for me to play. So, that's why I picked up on it, yeah.
So in 1990, you debuted with the Brisbane Bullets.
Yes.
Can you tell me about how you ended up arriving in Australia?
It was quite just by chance. The Brisbane Bullets were looking for a new import to bring to the team at the time in the late 80s. And they had a guy in America they went over to have a look at, who they were interested in. This is before the internet. And they had heard about this guy through the grapevine. They were going out to America to watch him play. My team just happened to be in America, at that place where this guy was playing, at the same city, playing against him. I matched up against a guy that they were interested in. I outplayed him. My team outplayed their team. The Brisbane Bullets turned their attention away from him to me. But I didn't know none of this was happening until after the game. My coach came up to me and said, this team from Brisbane at the time, he said, he didn't understand how to pronounce it. He said, Brisbane, Australia is interested in you. I want you to come over and play. I'm like, Australia? The place where Crocodile Dundee is from?
Did you know anything about Brisbane?
At the time, no. I never heard Brisbane. I heard of Sydney. Everybody heard of Sydney in America. But we didn't still know much about Sydney as well. All we knew about Australia back in that time was Crocodile Dundee, Big Dundee. Because of the movie was a smash hit. So what I did was I went and bought myself an atlas, because reading is one of my favorite pastimes, even to this day. Bought myself an atlas, looked up this place, Brisbane, found out all about what it, the weather and what it was like, and I was like, wait a minute, the weather's nice here year round, and there's this place called the Gold Coast, and there's the Sunshine Coast, and it sounded really nice on paper. So I said, I'll come over and give it a go. So it took me about a month to actually make up my mind to come over here. I'd already spent a little time playing in France and Spain, so I had a bit of overseas experience already, but not quite this far overseas.
The other side of the world.
Exactly. We talk like it was a 20-hour flight back then, 20 plus hours, as opposed to 8 or 9 hours to get across over to Europe.
So your time with the Brisbane Bullets, would you say that was the best NBL team you played with? Because you played with a number in Australia.
Yes, yeah. I played with Tassie down in Hobart, and I also played up in Cairns, finished my career in Cairns. My best years were with the Brisbane Bullets. Individually and as a team, we experienced a lot of success. I was all-star, and my team, we went to the grand finals, and the city really embraced us during that early '90s. So it was a great time.
And do you keep in contact with any of your teammates these days?
Well, the legendary Leroy Loggins, I still talk to him from time to time. He's still based here in Brisbane and doing a lot of work in the community. And Derek Ruckers just came back to Brisbane. He was my fellow import during that time, so we do keep in touch. But there's a host of other Australian-born teammates that are still walking, still straggling around the city, but you don't see them as much on the court. I'm still playing actively. At almost 52 years old, I still play socially every Wednesday. I'm one of the only ones from my era that is still out there running around. So I don't know if that's a smart thing or a good thing, or a bad thing, sorry, or a silly thing. So I don't see many of those guys because of that. I see a lot of younger guys coming up in basketball.
And speaking of young guys, in 2001 you retired.
Yep.
What have you been doing since then?
Well, I've started a program. Even during my basketball career, I started a program called Big Feet, Andre Moore's Big Feet, FEAT, which is this it's a play on words, obviously, and it's designed to it's a healthy body, healthy mind. I go to schools all across the country, and I teach kids about lifestyle issues, staying away from drugs, peer pressure, not get involved with all of the different trappings that kids can get involved in. So I use my celebrity status to steer the kids in the right direction. Then I also take them down to the courts, and we work on the basic fundamentals of the game: shooting, passing, dribbling. We have fun shooting games to win prizes. I get corporate organizations to donate prizes that I can give out to the kids for winning competitions and whatnot. So it's about giving back to the community and sort of passing on all of my attributes and my skills and passion for the game to the next generation.
And as the Somerville House head of basketball coach, you would be right across what's happening in basketball, particularly for women. How do you see women's basketball trending in the future?
Oh, I see women's basketball in Australia in particular is probably a lot more. They've been a lot more successful than the men's basketball on an international level. We have a young lady named Lauren Jackson. Well, she's not a young lady anymore. She just retired from basketball. She's a legendary player who played down in Canberra and over in America, Seattle. She's a great role model for all women basketball, but particularly Australia as well. I tell all the girls here, they all look her up, Google her up. She's probably, along with Andrew Gaze, Leroy Loggins, she'll probably be the third, probably most successful and most decorated, Australian-born, basketball player. And she, I tell all the kids, she's someone they can aspire to. So I'm a very strong advocate for women's sports and basketball in particular, and Lauren Jackson, in very much in particular, because she's been great for the country.
Yes, she has indeed.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, I'm running a marathon on the 3rd of July.
Yeah, well done. Good job.
One of the things that I know, I was out doing a long run on Saturday.
All right.
It was about 2.5 hours. And I wanted to ask you, how can I keep my motivation up during those long runs?
That's a good question, yeah.
What can I do? What can I put in my mind?
I think focusing in on your family, your lovely family you have here, your husband, keep their thoughts, and they're the motivation. I know when I play basketball, my motivation is by being first of all, making myself proud, then making my family and friends, loved ones proud. So I'm always thinking about them when I'm on the court, how they feel about what I'm doing, how I'm conducting myself and whatnot. So those type of thoughts can probably be very, very conducive to helping you to do what you have to do. Motivation. Because when our backs are against the wall, which is sports that happens all the time, there's only two things you're going to do. You're either going to come out fighting or you're going to cower. Perfect example. If I may tell a quick story, it's a bit of a funny story. When you're talking about doing what you have to do, coming through, there was the great Bill Gates. He was having a pool party in one of his big mansions in America, and he invited all these dignitaries and celebrities and all that to the pool party, and he invited anyone who was at the party to swim from one end of the pool to the other end of the pool, but he had been over to Australia and brought some little baby crocodiles, and they're like swimming around, they're swimming around the pool. So obviously people say that like, oh, I don't think I'm going to take him up on that offer. All of a sudden you hear this splash, and there's this guy just tearing down across the pool from one end to the other. He gets out the other end. Bill Gates comes up to him and says, "I owe you $100,000. Let me go get my checkbook." The guy said, "The heck with the money. I want to know who was the a-hole that threw me in that pool." That's what he wanted to find out. That's what he was worried about. So he did what he had to do once he got that pool, and I think it's a great story that illustrates. It's obviously a bit of a fairy tale, but it obviously illustrates how athletes like ourselves, when we feel adversity, we you come to a crossroad where you either go this way or you're gonna go that way with it, and it's all about the pressure. Handle the pressure. Pressure can do two things. Pressure can burst pipes, and it can make diamonds, which you ladies like. So I think you'll be making diamonds, when you do your fun run. I mean, that's not a fun run. So.
Just stop it. I can't believe I've left my phone on. This has been so good. So Andre, when you're playing professionally, or even socially, do you have any pre-game routine that you like to follow?
That's quite a good question, man. Well, first of all, at least 3 to 4 hours prior to a match, we like to have our pre-game meal, which is, I like to have a pre-game meal. That gives the food plenty of time to digest prior to a match, because you don't want to be playing on a full stomach. That's the worst thing, because you'll be spending the rest of your time, we don't want to know where you'll be spending the rest of your time after the game. But so I usually have a good pasta meal, because that burns off a lot quicker than other meals. You don't want to eat heavy steaks or anything like that. Then as far as before the game, I like to listen to music, nice hip hop, but clean hip hop music. I'm not into the stuff that glorifies guns and drugs and saying bad things about women. So I listen to nice clean hip hop. There is some good stuff out there, a lot of good stuff out there. So that kind of gets me kind of fired up for the game. And then I like to put on my socks a certain way, my shoes a certain way. My left foot, I used to go with my left foot first, and then right foot. So I'll do that. That's a routine I like to do. And make a trip to the bathroom prior to playing as well too. That's always very important too. 'Cause I like to be nice and light when I play, because there's a lot of jumping in the game of basketball. So that's what I like to do.
Andre, as you know, I'm racing the Gold Coast Marathon on the 3rd of July.
That's great. I'm really crazy. The same day is my mother's birthday.
Happy birthday.
And I'm the 2nd of July, the day before.
I'll be thinking of you the day before.
Okay. And my youngest son is July 4th. It's a big week for us, big week.
How can I keep my motivation up in training? I do some long runs.
Yeah.
Just yesterday I was running 2.5 hours. Next week I've got 3 hours. There can be times when I just don't feel like running. How do I keep my motivation up?
Motivation-wise, it's a state of mind, as you're probably already aware of. I think sometimes you gotta get a little rest in between too. You you don't want to overdo it. You know, everything's done in moderation. You know, so rest in between, concentrating on obviously positive sort of thoughts. I like to say, what do you call them? Positive mental attitude, PMA, having a positive mental attitude. I never got into long distance running because I'm more built for the short bursts of speed sort of stuff. You know, I always said the first time I saw somebody running a long distance and they're smiling, I'll join in because I know it's very serious. But I admire people like yourself that run these type of races. But my main advice would be just to think positive thoughts about your family, about the people that are motivating you, why you're doing it. You got to know why. You got to ask yourself, why am I doing this? What's the purpose behind it? Have a purpose behind it, and then reach those goals in that sort of respect by feeling feeling the motivation to reach those goals. And just have that positive mental attitude. That's the best way I can say it.
Well, you've mentioned the magic word Nike.
Okay.
So let's take our matching Nike shoes out.
All right. Size 17. What size are you?
8.
Size 8. Yeah, it's a bit of a difference there. So,
Take them out and let's play some basketball.
let's do this.
Okay.
You up for this?
Absolutely.